So we'll call the meeting to order at 6:32 p.m. First order is to review and make any changes to the agenda.
I didn't see this agreement to have Linda help us with.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean by
That's under the
Longland Bridge?
FY23 grant and aid project assistance from NRPC. It's under new business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, it's back there.
Yep. We can do it under public works if you want. I just popped under new business, but it's
No, I said here.
pertinent to stuff.
I just want to make sure it's there.
Any
Okay.
any changes, additions to the agenda? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the approval of the August 15th and August 18th minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from August 15th and August 18th. I think I was okay with those minutes.
I think you were too. Let me just pull the minutes up real quick. August 15th
I wasn't there.
and August 18th. So August 18th minutes was myself, Aaron, Mark, Leanne, Emily, so that was everybody on the 18th.
Mm.
And then the 15th,
I wasn't there.
yeah, and the 15th, Mark was not there. Okay, yep, good memory.
Should I do it separately then?
Yeah, let's do them separately.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 15th.
8:15 by Suzanne. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes of August 15th as written, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll
Aye.
abstain.
Mark will abstain. So motion carries 4-0. Mark abstaining. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of August 18th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 18th.
Great. We have a motion from Suzanne. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Great, we have a second from Leanne. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. The minutes have been approved. Moving on to Public Works. First thing here, roads and bridges, is just the town garage staffing update. One thing we do have to do is just execute the contracts tonight. We can sign these later when we do all of the signatures, but those are here to be signed. I guess just as far as an update goes, how are things going, Mark?
Good.
Yeah.
Dave started last week, and things seem to be going good. Yeah. He lost his cell phone one day, that wasn't good, but then he found it.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah.
That wasn't so good, but yes.
Did
Okay.
you find it?
Yeah, he found it.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, so, yeah.
Okay.
So that went good, but no, they're hauling in sand right now. Another couple more days of that, and we should have enough sand for the winter. I think we budgeted 22,000, I think we only needed 12,000 worth of sand, so.
Wow.
Some extra there. We had quite a bit left already, so. We always like to budget a little bit more, so.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna haul in, about 50 loads of gravel to have stockpiled, and maybe some 3-inch stone. You can pile some there too, just to have it
Yep.
for spring. So that's what we're working on. They're working on right now.
Great.
I think they ended up putting few signs up and stuff too. So hopefully they stay.
Okay.
Sheldon Road, Farm Road sign was stolen, and a few other signs.
Stolen?
Yeah, it's just getting to be kind of ridiculous. But it's dangerous too, because,
Yeah. Emergency
people are
services.
stealing these road signs, and then emergency services don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's an issue. So I think they put Nutting Road back up, and it's still there, I think, after maybe a week, so that's good. So, yeah.
Okay.
Montgomery Bridge does still need road signs on it, but
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna get to that. And then they did get the signs up at the school, that,
I saw that.
what are they
Share
called?
the road.
Share the road signs, those are up. We got those up. Yeah. Did Emily do that?
Did you hear that, Emily?
I did, thank you.
Okay.
Great. Awesome.
Larry has a question.
Larry, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, go ahead.
Do we have some new employees at the town, garage?
We do, yeah. So Scott is still there. Scott is road foreman now. He was promoted to road foreman. We had a number of candidates, and Scott was one of them, and we selected Scott for road foreman. And then Dave Tanner was hired on as deputy road foreman. Dave lives up on North Hill Road.
Mhm.
North Hill Road?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
and and what was his title again?
So he's been hired on as deputy road foreman.
Deputy, whoa.
Yeah.
Trying to spread the wealth.
Does he get a badge and everything?
We can certainly make him one. I have some cardboard
I
at home.
voted for a sash.
A s-
Get a sash.
A sash? Okay. Well, we
And
will.
he gets a bullet too, right?
A what?
Like Barney Fife.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll work on
Yeah.
sashes and badges for people. All
Put
right.
Sue on that, she'll take care of it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Well, that's great. Good update. Good to hear that things are moving forward with
Yeah.
those guys. Anything else under staffing updates?
No. Just a few, the loader, we had a problem with the loader, it was overheating, and so we had to have Nortrax or United Ag and Turf come out and work on it. And it was the thermostat, we put a new thermostat in it. So we'll be getting the bill on that. And there's still one other thing there's another cable that needed to be replaced, so that's been ordered so that we can get that. So lucky it was just, they came out and had the part with them, so we only had one trip charge, and so they got it going again. And then truck 2 is scheduled to go to Viking on the 26th. The sander control is not working, hasn't been working properly, and so it has to go down to Viking and get reprogrammed. So we have to put the sander on and then put some sand in it so they can reprogram the sander. So that's gonna be done.
Okay. That's under warranty, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Yeah.
Great. All right. That's it for updates there. The second item here is related to the Longland Bridge tap project. So I've been talking with Linda Blash at Regional Planning about getting some more money to help with paying for the rest of that work since it's been delayed a year. And with the delay, there's some personnel costs that have gone up, there's been materials costs that have gone up, there's the coming back and redoing all the work that we've done costs that are still there. And so the item here that was the supplemental funding through a stormwater mitigation grant. I don't have that application in hand tonight. I don't know.
How much was that? Do you remember?
It's due October 7th. And the application that we're looking for is for $75,000.
Oh,
Wait, I'm sorry. No. So we're looking, so the matching component will be $75,000.
Wow.
So we are asking for another $125,000 to try to complete this project. So I don't have the full budget tonight, but what we'll do is this is due October 7th,
Yeah.
and so at our first meeting in October on the 3rd, we will execute this and submit it. So we'll have a full budget to go over then.
So that grant is for 75 or?
No, the grant application is going to be for the funding level isn't filled in on this, but 75,000.
I knew that at one point they were like 125,000 short.
Yeah. So 80%. I can't do the mental math quickly in my head, but I want to say that
So our share is gonna be like 80%.
yeah, our share. No, our share is going to be 20%. So, for example, if it's a total project cost of $625,000, then our share would be $125,000. So, if someone smarter than me can do the math backwards to figure out what 75,000 is 20% of, that's the amount of money that we're going to be requesting based on this budget.
That's what they're up to now?
Yeah, Dubois King came back with a revised budget, and
That's just ridiculous.
Linda and I talked it over, and I said, well, my first response was, what if we tell them just to take a hike? And
Wow.
we talked about it, and she went back with some requests to basically tell them, no, we're not gonna pay more for these items. These other items, we understand, cost more.
To fix 200 feet of road?
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
so we will table that until October 3rd, until the full budget of that and the application is ready.
Yeah,
But we'll need to address the match,
yeah.
which will involve Aaron. So we'll get Aaron in on this.
75,000 is 20% of 375.
375,000? Okay, so then it looks like we're gonna be asking for an additional $375,000 to complete this project.
On top, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
on top of what we already have. And again, this is basically because,
I guess we gotta see some budget.
This is like $1 million project.
yeah, and it wouldn't have been if the state had listened to us when we talked about this 6 years ago and tried to fix it then.
Well, it
because-
still doesn't make sense to be that much,
No.
No, it
that
doesn't.
much money. I mean, we can't come up with that much money.
So we'll get the full budget together for the 3rd, plus the application material.
That's just ridiculous.
And we'll go over it then, and then look at that. But that's the mechanism to basically get the additional monies to make this project whole. Again, the matching component on our end is going to be where the rubber hits the road of what we can actually do.
Jeez.
So anyway, that's the Longland Bridge Tap project update.
Okay,
And again, we'll look at the stormwater mitigation grant on October 3rd.
okay.
Third item under roads and bridges is the Dreisigacker petition to throw up class 4 road extension off Deep Yibu. So
Yeah,
I thought we had, so we don't have a copy of the town highway map here, but if folks are familiar with Deep Yibu Road, it swings down, goes by the old deer farm, takes that kind of hard loop, heads out, and then at the very end of Deep Yibu Road, heading west, there's an extension that drops down into what used to be the Atlas Timberlands. Ethan Dreisigacker purchased that. It's now 30-acre or 100-acre Woodlands LLC, I forget his company name. And there's a bridge there that crosses, I don't know if that's, I guess it's the upper reaches of West Hill Brook.
yeah.
And so what Ethan is asking, this isn't an accurate map, it's not actually as long as it's shown here. This is not a town highway map, so take it with a grain of salt. But Ethan is asking that we throw up the town right-of-way beginning at the north side of the bridge and going south. And so what he's asking is that we give up the bridge, and it's only like a couple hundred feet of unimproved trail on the other side of the bridge. He's asking that so that he can essentially modify the bridge in a way where vehicular traffic cannot cross it in an attempt to mitigate ATV activity south of there. He doesn't have a problem with public access on the property. He actually is fine with that for hunting, fishing, recreation. But ATVs have been going down in there, and instead of parking at the log landing and walking down to where there's a series of waterfalls, they are driving their ATVs down to the waterfalls and then into the waterfalls, which he's not a big fan of. And so he would like to basically just have us throw that portion of public right-of-way up so that he can gate at the bridge, keeping it open for pedestrian traffic and limit ATV traffic down to the rest of the property. There was a letter that I think was circulated that most folks saw. There's a copy of it here.
But it wasn't a petition, it's just a letter.
It's a letter, but it's a petition from a landowner. It's not a legal petition.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not.
And so the process for which you can discontinue a public highway, and this counts as a public highway even though it's an unimproved trail below that. So basically there's two ways that this happens. One is a petition by the voters or landowners. The other is the select board initiates the process. We have not received what would be a legal petition under like the criteria that we use for, say, putting something on a warning for town meeting. Like you have to have a certain percentage of the electorate sign it.
This is almost like a request.
Yeah, this is like a request from a landowner.
Yeah.
It's an ask.
And because the right of way in question only accesses that one parcel with no abutters on it, that doesn't involve any other landowners as far as petitioning would go as far as abutters. So this kicks off a process by which we would set a time and date for a visit, and then we would publish that. We'd post it, publish it in the newspaper, and we'd send interested parties a notice by certified mail. So what we need to do is set a date and time for a site visit to go out there. We can either try to nail that down tonight, or since it is a scheduling matter, that is something that we can just talk about offline if we want to do it when we all have calendars in front of us. So do folks want to just do it offline, or do you want to try to pick a date now?
It should be done, within
Doesn't matter.
within a month, within the next month.
Yeah, because we do need time to post it and get it out in the newspaper. So it's got to be.
It's snowing up there other than that.
Yeah. It's already snowing now, right, Larry? Yeah. And just as a review, because it's been a while since we've talked about this, after the public hearing, then the select board issues a written report. Notice to abutters go out, materials go to the town clerk, notice goes to AOT, and then there's certain actions if there's an appeal or not, but those are down the line. So the next step is to schedule a site visit. Do folks have calendars open in front of them? Emily, are you following along with us?
I just got kicked out and I'm back in now, so I'm hearing that you're asking about scheduling a site visit up at, the property in Deep Eagle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So today is the 19th. Again, we need time to warn this, get it out in the newspaper. So the earliest I would say we want to do it is going to be Monday of next week. Monday, I'm booked. What do folks' days look like Wednesday or Thursday afternoon?
I can't do Wednesdays.
You can't do Wednesdays?
And I have to, Thursday's fine, but I have to be back by 5-ish.
Yeah, is that,
Wednesday, Thursday.
you can do it around 1 o'clock or something.
But we don't, we don't all have to be there.
Okay.
But a majority of us should be there. What time are you guys out of school?
I can leave Wednesday at 3:30. On
Well-
Thursdays I have homework club, so my day doesn't end until 4:30.
Until 4:30. Okay.
Maybe 5.
What about Tuesday?
I'm open on Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Tuesday's an okay day. I mean, it would be a 4 o'clock day.
At 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay. Emily, what's Tuesday look like for you?
I can probably be there by like 4:15.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's say 4:30 then.
What time does the sun go down?
Right now it's about right before 7.
Early.
Right around.
So
Seven.
if we scheduled it for
7,
4:15, there's still enough daylight up there to look at this?
Should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just not raining.
All right. So if it's okay with everybody, what we're gonna do
Gets dark
is
earlier then.
we're gonna do 9/27, which is a Tuesday, at 4:30 PM.
Okay.
I'll get that noticed and get a notice to the paper so that they can publish it.
And we'll meet at that location.
Yeah, yep. All right,
If we can get to it.
Yeah, you should do.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
Charlie, if I may,
Yes,
don't drive 3-4 vehicles all the way down to that bridge, which is closed now. You can't, it's very difficult turning around and down there.
yeah,
Difficult to turn one vehicle around rather than 3 or 4. Park further up the road or even my driveway walk.
okay, thanks Larry. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll plan to park up at the head of the road so folks can see it too, so
Okay.
they don't get lost.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry.
I was gonna mention, if people wanna park here, and then we can all just jump in together and go up there, that is fine too.
Okay, great. All right, awesome. So that's it for the Dreisaitl petition. The next couple items here are in relation to just purchasing policy actions. So the first one is for the culvert. So this is for culvert installation. So this is for changing 2 culverts on,
There's one on Amadon Road and one on Route 58.
okay, and we have a quote from Avery
Some ditching too.
for 1,000. So it's using mini excavator to
Pretty much.
change 2 culverts and do some ditching.
Pretty much a day's work.
10 hours.
Yeah. Give or take.
Okay, and this is looking at $1,000 as being the cost.
Hmm.
And Mark, you think that $1,000 is a reasonable?
Yeah, because you
Yep.
have the operator too.
That's fine. I just wanted to ask the question just to put it out
I
there.
guess something I'm not really understanding is why we need to go through this whole process.
Yeah,
I mean, we are gonna discuss the purchasing policy later,
yeah,
but this is just regular road maintenance and
Yeah.
we don't have an excavator, so we have to hire an excavator and this kind of holds up the whole process. of
yeah. So
what we're doing.
let's talk about that when we get
Yeah.
down to that, because I do want to make
Okay.
sure that we can like make this a workable thing.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I mean, I know we
Yeah.
just started it, so that's why, yeah.
Because for now, because it's in place, we need to do this dance just to make it work.
Okay.
So is there a motion to approve the expenditure for Avery's to do the culverts and ditching as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Great. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Suzanne. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries.
Okay.
Next one up is for the purchase of new tires.
Yeah, yeah, 3 tires for the new truck, winter tires.
Only-
Well, no, 6. 6 tires at $314 each. So that's $18.84. The reason I only got one quote is from the company we usually use. I called the 2 other companies and they were almost $350 or almost $50 more a tire.
Okay.
And they weren't sure when they could get them. So this company had the 6. I don't know, that was a week and a half ago. So hopefully they still have them
Okay.
at that price, which isn't a bad price.
Okay, what's the name of the company?
What do we use? Michelin? Yeah.
Michelin's probably the kind of tires.
Yeah, that's the kind of tire. What is the name of the tire company we use? I thought of it when I came here.
That's okay. We can approve the expenditure without the name of the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mark's brought us a quote for 6 tires at $314 each, totaling $18.84. Is there a motion to approve the expenditure?
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure for new tires.
Great. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Leanne. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we will Call the question, all those in favor of approving the expenditures presented, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries.
Hopefully they still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have, I just realized here, we do have a couple additional items here that Aaron flagged for purchasing policy approval. Again, I think this is just under the current policy that we have, we need to formally approve these expenditures because they're over $1,000. The first one is from Whitecap.
Let me see. I think those were the fireproof cabinets. Yeah, these are for 2 fireproof cabinets, one for here and one for the town garage.
Okay. And that's for,
$1,372.
okay, $1,372 for the fireproof cabinets for,
And we had to get those because when they came and did the fire inspection, the insurance inspection, they wanted us to get 2 of those for each location, so.
okay. Great, and then we have one from Valancourt. This is truck 1. Service, it just looks like.
Well, what was done there was, it needed a new hydraulic cylinder. And then, a set of brake shoes. Pretty much they just went right through the truck and then inspected it. But it needed a new hydraulic cylinder, so we put that on. And I mean, there really isn't many choices where this could be done.
Yep.
That's why we can get 3 quotes.
That's fine. So 3,727.50. If you want to see these, I'm happy to pass them around.
Will these be, are these on the warrant?
Yeah, I believe these are in the warrants.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I get paid.
Yep. And the last one is from HP Fairfield.
That,
This is for tailgate lock assembly.
yeah, that's for truck 1. That wasn't that one.
This has it down as being tailgate lock assembly.
That was like $300, wasn't it?
Holy shit. Excuse me. The shipping was $788.43.
Huh? That's not right.
That can't be right.
No,
Okay.
no. No, I didn't see, yeah, I'll have to call him on this.
Okay.
Huh, because I have the other invoice. Yeah.
All right. So we will hold that one
Yeah.
with the WTF.
Yeah, that's why I said 350 or 60, and that's what I thought the whole total was.
Okay.
I didn't see that bill.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Wow. All it
Okay.
is a little assembly.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess the question would be, is there a motion to approve the Whitecap and Valancourt expenditures?
I'll make a motion to approve the Whitecap and Valancourt expenditures.
Sorry. I'm not sure what just happened. Apologies. I just lost like the whole agenda and other pages of this document. It says there's
I love
3 pages.
technology.
It says there's 3 pages, but okay, they're back. I don't know what just happened. Motion by Suzanne.
Do I have it
Is
on?
there a second?
Do I have it on?
I'll second it.
Great. Motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I didn't want to cut you off, Emily. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Emily, can you just clarify where you landed there? If you're still with us? Emily might be dealing with,
I
oh.
I was an
You were an aye. Okay.
me.
Yep, I can hear you now. Great, thanks, Emily. Okay, great.
This is not a good connection tonight.
No.
Well, that's okay, because you and Larry are both using the internet. That means that everybody in the Gibu can't, so.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you hopping on. Great, so that takes us up to the last item here under roads and bridges, which is the Cote Road offer of dedication. And Don Crocker is with us this evening.
Yeah.
Do you want to present this, Mark?
Pretty much what Don is presenting is, we've been taking care of this portion of the road for quite a few years anyways, and pretty much we're just making it legal that the town takes over this part of the road. It's pretty much just after the bridge. And I think we made the right of way a little bit wider, and then there's a turnaround that we've been maintaining and helping maintain anyway, so pretty much it's just making it legal, a portion of road we've been taking care of already, so.
So then,
I met with Don, and that's pretty much what we came up with.
so the proposed 20-foot wide irrevocable offer of dedication
That's from the bridge up.
up to here, and then
Yeah.
we've got the proposed turnaround easement there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
It really
Yeah.
started out with Mike Snyder said, geez, could I get a right of way to help me turn the plow around?
Yeah.
And it turned out
Yeah.
that I owned that thing that the town thought it owned. I
Yeah.
owned from the bridge on.
that's what we
So I said, well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to fix it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I said, I'll give you, I was gonna give him a right of way. And there's an existing right of way to that Brookside farmhouse, which is, it's 275 feet by 18 foot wide.
yeah,
And so we said, well, it'd be nice to get a little wider, because, and Mike had pointed out, he was plowing right on the edge of that. He was
Yeah.
like
Okay.
less than 18 inches from it. He was afraid he was gonna hit it one day with the plow.
Yeah.
So we made it
Yeah.
that, and then I said, I would take that area, that little block, I said, I keep that as my land, but I'll make it open so that
so we can turn
you
around.
can turn around
Yeah.
easier. And that
Yeah.
worked great last
Yeah.
winter. We had it
Yeah.
in place
Yeah.
last winter.
Yeah,
So we just need, and then when I went to the lawyer,
yeah,
and to draw up the paperwork, he says, well, you don't wanna do a right of way, you should do an irrevocable offer of dedication.
yeah,
And that's what that paperwork is, so he drew it up, and
yeah,
the only reason I came tonight was I think we just need one signature on the second page from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just, in case there was a question, that's,
Awesome. So yeah, so what we have tonight is the map showing it. We've got the warranty deed, Exhibit A, which outlines essentially what we're doing, referring to the map. Here include easement for the turnaround,
for dedication.
pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. So we just need a motion.
Barry told me he had no, I talked to Barry twice, he called me twice, and said everything looked good.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Great.
been in touch with him, so, yeah, he did everything he could.
Great, so I guess the
Yeah.
motion would be to sign the warrant. So the motion would be to basically adopt the irrevocable offer of dedication and sign the warranty deed.
You don't have to sign the deed, you just have to sign, I think, the irrevocable offer.
Yeah,
Yep.
the offer. So I'll make that motion. For the Cote Road.
Great, motion from Mark. Is there a second?
A second?
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any objections? Abstentions? Sorry. Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Great. So yeah, all we need to do is sign the offer
It's gotta be notarized.
and notarized. Okay, so we have the motion made,
So
so I can swing by and get it signed off with, Genevieve, so she can notarize it, so I can get this done like tomorrow, if that works for you?
There's no rush, and then I can go ahead and get the thing recorded.
Yes.
yeah,
Because we need to put in the reference, the recording, I noticed on this too.
On this, yeah. It's
So once Genevieve, I think Genevieve's the one we record it with, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Genevieve will record it, and she'll be able to
Yeah.
notarize it, because I believe she's in.
She's off tomorrow, isn't she? The new hours?
I can't remember what their hours are.
Yeah.
I was looking at them,
Yeah, they are.
I
They are
stopped by
off tomorrow.
today to see if
Okay.
she's on, I think she's off tomorrow and back Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's back Wednesday,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I will swing by Wednesday,
Yeah.
and get that taken care of.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you for
Doc.
sticking with us on that.
Hey,
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
believe me, the worst thing was getting Harvey to do the survey, that took 2 years.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
This is
Thank you,
nothing.
Thank you.
All right, have fun,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right,
Okay,
so
time
it's,
to get that out.
it's a little, yeah, right? We check one thing off of our list.
Yeah,
It's now a little after 7, so if it's okay with everybody, we'll put a pin at buildings and grounds and we'll hop to visitors. So, Carissa, I know that you're on the agenda for the Conservation Commission. Is it okay if we let Penny go ahead first and then we pivot to the Conservation Commission?
Okay. The only, Alan, Demar, Penny, everybody.
Yeah.
But I am running for Representative Montgomery Enosburg for District 7. And I've been up here putting signs up, talking to people. They said, have you been to the select board meeting? I said, how come? But they said, introduce yourself, let them know and you know who you are. And I've got some worthy opponents. They're both good people. We don't always see eye to eye politically as far as spending money and different things. So I put my hat in the ring and here I am. So,
Yeah.
but I do want to let you know, I know all you folks, but regardless, I'm not sure of the outcome, but if it is me, I just want to let you people know that I'm a servant of Montgomery and Enosburg and the state. So I think everybody knows me around here. I grew up here in Montgomery. I'm born, well, I wasn't born there, I was born in the hospital, but I was on Hazen's Notch, then down in Mill Hill, and I live in Enosburg. My daughter teaches here in town. Her and her husband, Sean Bowen, live 58, so, but I just wanted to let you guys know that you can call me anytime and I would do what's right for Montgomery and Enosburg and the state. So if you got any questions, I'd try to answer them, but
Great, thanks,
I
Penny.
just wanted to let you know I'm in the mix and I'm working hard for this position. So,
okay.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
If you don't have any questions, I'll let you go and I'll head home. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it means,
Well,
means a lot to take the
well,
time out.
Well,
come
I've
say
been
hi.
parked inside the road, putting signs up, wondering if they're legal or not, and, you know, do you have a rule with how far the signs are on the town roads? You guys have been very good, to all of us, we're all,
The state has, but we
the
don't.
state does,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I missed quite a few signs, I've been putting them back up, and I'm putting, I gotta put stickers on them now, my
Just
stickers weren't big
Just
enough.
make sure you pick them all up when you get
Oh,
done.
I'll guarantee you that, within
Okay, okay.
I got so many out there, might not happen within the first 2 days, but within 3 days.
That's all I have.
If not, you can use it for lawn sale signs or you know, something.
Then we aren't getting
Before
them
the
caught in our,
birds now.
then we aren't getting them caught in our mower or.
Oh, sure, so no, I will take care of that.
Awesome.
If you don't have any questions, I'll let you guys go, but
Any questions for Penny, either from visitors or anybody in the room?
this was easy.
Yeah.
Nobody
not.
stumped me.
Yeah, well, like I said, I do appreciate you taking the time.
Well,
It
I
means-
appreciate
means a
what
lot
you
to come
guys
out.
do.
Yeah.
I've been on different boards and none of them are easy. I've been on PRB, Planning Commission, school boards, and I don't know why I'm doing this. No, I don't. I think I'm running for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I'm on the conservative ticket. I'm not anything. I think I'm going for the right reasons, and I
Yeah.
hear about all the division, this. Somebody's got to start running their mouths and saying, we are one, we are people. And you know, so, and I use that. I said, vote for the person, not a party. It's,
Yep.
Mhm.
and I hope we can all get along. And I can argue with anybody, but I also if I lose that battle, we'll pick a different one.
All right.
All right, I appreciate your line.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
You have a good evening.
yeah.
So Carissa's here on behalf of the Conservation Commission, and she's got some slides.
You know, I like my slides.
Yeah.
Hey,
Post
you
disabled.
didn't see 3 pigs down there last time we were down there, did you?
You read what?
3 pigs. They've been going down to that lower field. They've been
Yes.
going through the woods, and
Yeah.
they ended up down the village one day.
I sure did. And I was like, I know where they came
I
from.
got them fenced in now.
But we had the Conservation Commission right after, and I was like,
Well, you had your meeting with
Lauren Weston.
Lauren.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it
So
was
we're,
like that same afternoon. that-
Yeah.
They must. I was
Okay.
wondering if you saw them down there.
so we pulled out, and it's like,
Is it
I
just
think those are pigs.
Is it just 2 slides?
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so when you're ready to advance it, you can just hit the next button.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my computer just in case other questions come around. Okay, so Lauren Weston from the Franklin County Natural Resource Conservation District. So Franklin County Conservation District, they do a lot of grant writing. They do the annual spring tree sale. Frankly, I think we underutilize them because you know, they're kind of in the St. Albans area, and we're just kind of out here on the back 40s. So she was kind enough to come to a midday meeting and then stay after for the conservation meeting to introduce herself and whatnot. So we walked out here, and she looked at this project. I presented back in May or April, and she looked at this project from a different perspective, and so I did want to float it with you guys because it's a completely different perspective than what I was looking at. So she was looking at it from she's an engineer, and she was looking at it from a floodplain standpoint, and if this could play any part with flood retention, flood resiliency for the future. I won't even say future because we've had recent floods. So. I picked these 2 images because you can, one on the left, you can see where Black Falls Brook is delineated, at least now. Not to say that that's where it's at. And I think most of you are well aware of Black Falls, how it floods and what it does when it jumps the brook because there's a 90-degree turn there. Where it says Black Falls Brook, that's kind of the 90-degree turn. Yeah. To the bottom right, that's LiDAR. So that's probably the best topographic viewing that we can see. And I think that captured the 2018 flood, although please don't hold me to it. Okay, so our eyeballs orienting to where we're kind of at and what's going on.
Yep.
Okay, so this is this is a spot in the lower, the trout comes in and then Black Falls meets it, and right in between you've got the village. And so it's a very dynamic area. If you can see in the upper right corner of the gray imagery, that was Black Falls where how it used to meander.
Oh.
So you can see where there's basically a basin and then drop off to the floodplain. It used to go back and forth. We probably don't have a lot of meandering to do with Black Falls in that point where the bridge is because there's infrastructure and there's houses. But upstream there's that hayfield, there's potential floodplain, and then we've got the townland, which is kind of this heart-shaped area where Black Falls comes in, and then trout. I think, I'm not a hydrologist, but, basically we would be looking at mainly that side where Black Falls comes in, and turns. Yeah, and then I don't know if there's any opportunity. I do think that the trout, once it gets past that Black Falls point, is accessing the floodplain. It's actually cutting in.
Oh,
It's trying to forego that turn because there's so much velocity coming out. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Feel free
I
to
can't.
hop in
I
and
can't verbalize.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the trout is cutting through here when it gets really, really high going, and this whole area floods I saw that twice in 2018.
That's Chaz.
Chaz's
That's Chaz's, so-
property.
Yeah.
No infrastructure at risk, nothing going on. In 2007, they did an analysis here, mainly on flood damage, and they did say that they recommend that that be moved. It's probably prone to flooding in the future, but
That's pretty well, there's quite a bit of sediment built up.
yeah,
In
that's
that-
the other
in that
thing.
Corner right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And wasn't that
Yeah.
structure raised after the '97 flood? The
Well,
one that's there, didn't they?
Well, no, the one that was there was just
Obliterated.
taken right out.
Yeah.
And now they moved the trailer closer to the road, because it was set back farther, they moved it closer, and they raised it up.
And did FEMA help pay to raise it, or is that, or,
I believe so.
okay,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's, yeah, but they moved it closer to the
Yeah.
road. But the other house was just
gone.
gone. But then that sediment was just built right up, and it was, built up in there.
yeah, so one thing that's obvious is that it's upgrading, there's more and more sediment, so it is accessing flooding more, but that comes into a little bit of an issue because we have a lot of infrastructure in that area.
It's
And-
better to go towards the field than to go take the infrastructure out.
Exactly, and that was Lauren's point.
Oh.
There's not a lot of breathing room there,
No,
and I don't know, I can't tell you if we do all this analysis, if it will say, yes, this would be a good area or not.
yeah,
That's kind of what the whole analysis is for, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So
okay.
this is kind of the area that we're talking about. However, we can pick a different starting point and a different end point. So if we've got an area that we want to know, could this be potential floodplain area so we have less flooding downstream? Where would we
Oh,
pick it along the watershed? It could be where another dynamic area comes in, like the Black Falls. It could be an area where we always wonder, like, could we reduce the flooding in this town if we did something upstream? I mean, town land is kind of like, well, it's town land. We wouldn't have to work with ask a private landowner to modify their landscape.
yeah.
Or do all this, have people come out and do analysis.
Even that wouldn't take the whole field, just do that corner. Yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah, I think it has, based on what I've seen out in the field, it looks like it's cut through, but I think it's so dynamic there, I don't even know if this is properly catching what's going on right there right now.
Yeah,
And I mean dynamic, just, you see it, and
yeah,
the other thing is the rock that is out of Black Falls, the trout, you got fine, sand, silt, all of that, you have none of that in Black Falls. So when it rains, the soil is not reducing a lot of that runoff, and it's pigeonholing like a fire hose right here. And what the modeling does that she talked about is basically running scenarios on rainfall events and what would happen and where we could look for alternatives. Sorry, I'm not gonna go on because. Okay, so I asked her. I said, "Well, can you get me an end product example?" I have 2 reports that she sent me, and I didn't want to post that whole thing, but they're pretty extensive and they're interesting to read for me. But this is basically what they'd be doing. They'd look at alternative 1 in the bottom right. You can see alternative 1, alternative 2, and alternative 3, and then they'll go into other alternatives. And then in the example that she sent me, it went from a project from A to Z. So it showed the vegetation, it showed what they planted after, it showed what they cut into, what they took away, and how they cross-cut the floodplain.
Is that what that photo?
No, it's in the report. I didn't want to post a ton of slides. So basically for Franklin County, for Lauren Weston, she would be probably put as the project manager, and then we would be like a partnership with it. And based on where we're at timing right now, we're in fall 2022. The summer field work would if we got awarded the grant, it would be summer field work 2023 and a completed analysis 2024, and then an archaeological phase. Because now if it is a project that we go ahead with, they will be removing material, and it is a sensitive spot. We already know that for artifacts. Not by pulling it, but just what's been mapped in the area. And yeah, so it's scenario modeling, and so I had the River Conservancy out. Mark was there. They, at the end, basically said that they'd like to come back this fall with Stacy Pomeroy, our river scientist designated for this county. And I think the next step, if we did want to do it, is we would have Stacy out there and the River Conservancy and Lauren. Everybody gets on the same page, because I don't know if what the River Conservancy, what that means in their field. And what we were doing was looking at potential easement.
Yeah.
Because it's in a river corridor, we cannot build on that area, and it would basically be an easement that the stipulation would be, you cannot build on this area. Because we never know what the future holds, so.
Yeah.
But,
But
I didn't-
see how that affects what Lauren's saying, you know.
yeah, no decisions made there, just them coming out and seeing the site, and then when I had tangible information from them about the program, then presenting it to you guys.
That's this.
Well, what this does, and why I'm, the grant is it's October 12th that she has to apply by, if we would like to apply for it.
That's Lauren applying for a grant, or who?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Lauren. It's the Franklin County Conservation District applying for it, and us kind of being a partnership with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And that's looking at, thinking floodplain and all that.
Yeah.
That's looking at that.
That's,
Oh, okay.
yep, and I will
Okay.
send
Okay.
the reports that she sends me, just so you know what's hitting the inbox, and what it looks like. It's an interesting, the one with less verbiage is very interesting. But anyway,
Okay.
the other thing is if we do this, I don't know how much this cuts into the prior plan. So like, this edge of the field is more potentially going to be habitat, riparian area, floodplain. It'll be modified.
It would give us a better idea of alternatives, right? Because at this point, we're still looking at alternatives differently, and this
Yeah.
would just give us more information to work with, right? So.
That's how I see it, and I see, I mean, we all know that it's projected that we'll have higher rainfall aspect, and so we don't have a lot of wiggle room unless we buy up a bunch of floodplain and start. Yeah, but the channel itself, the trout is upgrading in most areas, meaning it's building up the sediment and it's accessing the floodplain more. What that means to us is that we're gonna have more flooding in areas we never had it before, because it's a natural dynamic of the river.
Yeah.
There's just certain parts of the area, like Longland Bridge Road, like our covered bridges, like our town, where if we can allow the river to breathe sooner, the better, because it comes out of these areas and it's like fire hose-ish, and it creates damage. That's how I see it, downstream. So this would be a chance we would be applying for Lake Champlain grants, because it would be capturing sediment, and it would be changing the dynamic downstream, which benefits, because we're at headwater, it benefits the rest. It could potentially benefit the rest of the, if they stay.
So is that through the Lake Champlain Basin Program?
It is, yep.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Grants to October 12th. Is there a cost to the town? I guess. We're a partner in the application. Is there a match requirement? Is there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So the other aspect that I wanted to get y'all's input on is there any other area in the watershed that we should have this capture? Because if we just want to look at this area, like this is going to be our starting point, this is going to be that's all they'll look at. If we want to go upstream at all, because we've always had an issue with an area, or if we want to go downstream, we have a very dynamic area and a couple bridges downstream.
Yeah.
But to me, the question would be, are there any landowners there that we could potentially do something about? So if they say, well, you should also do a more floodplain access here because it's downputting, would that landowner probably work with us? Is kind of how I think about it.
I mean, the one that comes to
Yeah.
mind for me is Chaz, just both of his properties right there.
Okay.
And I think Chaz would be into it, because he's
Yeah.
done riparian planting, he's very sensitive to that, so I think Chaz would be welcome to having this work done, just to see what it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I can I can get in touch with him and ask him before submitting the grant to make sure that we're not assuming.
Yeah, because that'd be the other part, where just anybody that we'd wanna pull in, we'd wanna make sure that they're on board before we do anything, so we're not speaking for them.
Yeah.
But just thinking about that area, I mean, other than our property, Chaz's seems like the other one that would be
Yeah.
worthwhile. Like you pointed out, there's some properties upstream that we could look at, but
this
given
narrow property.
given the built environment, there's not a whole lot that we could do,
Yeah.
right? So as far as like where the actions could be taken, it seems like Chaz's property. The only other ones would be like, I don't know if you want to reach out to, trying to think of the folks that are kind of back up behind the village.
The Crummers?
Kind of like where Suzanne's property is, and behind there, behind,
I'd like Joe Sherman in there too.
yeah, kind of like a little bit north of Joe Sherman. Basically, that behind those homes, there's kind of like a wet.
Suzanne Pelletier.
Pelletier's
Right,
house.
right,
Yeah.
Right in that area.
Okay, Suzanne Pelletier and then Linda, I don't know her last
If
name.
you go back one slide, on the
Yeah.
thing, you can kind of see. It's kind of like these properties, right?
Yep.
Because
No, that's the upper field.
this here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. This area down here,
Down
right?
there.
Yeah. Because you've. No,
Dusso Road is the one that's Joe Sherman's, is that?
Yeah, that's Joe Sherman's.
That's Joe Sherman's.
Yeah.
well, then maybe I'm getting discombobulated
Then
here.
it'd be above that Dusso Road. Would be
Yeah,
Up
that,
here,
right
this
in
area,
there. Right, that area there.
and then I guess is this out behind Titus's?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
then I guess talking to Titus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Titus probably would be into it,
Yeah.
because he's pretty
Yeah.
keyed into what's going on back there. So yeah, I guess those would be the other ones if you're
Oh,
if you're
that's
willing
right.
to reach out to them
Okay.
and check.
Yep, so everybody, like Titus and Dusso Road, the two that are back there, you think? Or-
Yeah, basically if whoever owns this big area back here, I don't know what property it goes with,
Okay.
That's-
and then back between.
That'd be right across from Joe Sherman.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
Those would be the other ones, because then that's where you have space to do something if you're gonna do something, so.
okay,
Yeah.
and it's Linda Elkins, I think, is that corner.
Elkins, that's what I was
Yeah.
trying to think of.
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool,
Well,
awesome, this is great.
yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
So next steps would be, you're gonna reach out to landowners to gauge interest on their end, and then at some point come back with a grant application
Yeah,
before
and-
the 12th.
yes, and I'm gonna, well, the 3rd is your next meeting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I'll verify, I'll double check to make sure that it's no cost to the town, but when we talked about it, that was one of the things, but just double checking.
Cool,
And then reach out to them. Thank you guys.
awesome, thank you.
Thank you too.
So I'm just gonna drop this for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's alright, I got it. Alright, so now we'll do visitors online. Larry, anything for visitors?
I do, I just tried to follow up on some items because I've missed so many meetings.
Yep.
I do apologize.
It's okay.
The first item is the website upgrade or improvement. Where are we on that?
Emily, you wanna tackle that?
Yeah, so we are coming to almost a close with that, Larry. We have a bit of information because so many things have changed recently with staffing and documents and things like that. I've been working with Zach and I've been able to take a look at it, what he has so far. It's still on, so I don't understand all of it entirely, but it's still like living within his system because it's not published yet. And so for the next meeting, I am going to bring a link that we can all look at and walk through it, as long as he has it like running on his system. And then once we give him sort of final edits, final thoughts on it, I think that we should have it ready to go.
Hey, Emily, just
Well, I really understood what you, I really understood what you said, I'm not a fly fish. Anyways, I went on the website yesterday to find out some information, and it was horrible, the present one. The next question I have is a Menage property at the bottom of 58. What's the latest on that?
I don't know the answer to that question, Larry. I know that notices have gone out. Doug was gonna do an inspection there related to fire safety. I don't know what came of that though. And Sue, do you have any updates, Sue?
Yes, we're at a complete standstill on it. We thought we could get the fire marshal to come and condemn it. That is not, going to happen. Zoning sent out, the letter, but I have no idea what happened with that. Ellen doesn't let me know what's going on with that. And Anita didn't wanna do a tax sale just yet. It could go up for tax sale, but there's absolutely no change on that property.
Okay.
Although he told the town, or he told somebody that, he doesn't have the money to pay the taxes, that he doesn't have money to do anything on the property, and that he's just washing his hands of it. No, that's where we stand.
Okay. Well, I can follow up with Ellen to see if they've had any kind of response on the zoning letter. My guess is he's just ignoring it. And I can also follow up with Doug, just to see if he's done an inspection regarding fire safety.
Yeah, that's Doug has done
Oh, Doug
what
did
he
it.
can do.
Okay,
But we thought that maybe we could get the fire marshal
I got
to
you.
come and condemn it, and Doug said, no, they won't do it.
Okay. Yeah, Larry?
Have we looked into the possible, some sort of seizure of the property because of the health hazards involved?
We have not looked into that, no, but we certainly can.
That may be an opportunity. The other thing is, I would suggest that we look into possible, offering the individual a very small ballpark figure to just buy the place. Maybe we could use ARPA funds. You know, if he's in financial straits has been rumored that possibly he would take a very low offer for that small piece of property and home.
Yeah, we could.
I wouldn't even call it a home, but that's
I
okay.
think the balance of that would be what the liability is that we're taking on. I mean,
I would be absolutely against that, Charlie, as a taxpayer. We don't need to buy property.
I mean, if he was to formally abandon the property, but even then, if the town was to take ownership, I would be a little concerned about what that liability shows up on our books as in terms of now we're responsible for
Cleanup and.
Cleaning
Yeah.
up. That could be very, very expensive, and knocking down the house.
Yeah.
You're talking about $50,000.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I can certainly.
You have an estimate on that? So,
No, I'm just saying, well, going on what they had to pay, what Walter had to pay to knock down the house above me. That's what I'm basing it on.
Okay,
The last item was the rigging road work for the, I think it was a pump station, power to pump station.
Yeah.
Where's that stand?
so that right now is just waiting for the landowners to return my phone calls.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I am still on it, and the hope is to get that work done this fall.
Yeah, I
It's just a
wanted to-
case of trying to get them to call me back. So I am still on it, and I'm trying to work with other folks in town who look after the property and know them to give me a heads up if and when they're seen.
yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Great, thanks, Larry. Sue, anything for visitors?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Thank you again for all your work with the reconciliation. I know that took a lot of time, so appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no objections, we'll circle back to buildings and grounds. I think the rest of the agenda we can move fairly quickly through. So buildings and grounds, the 98 Main Street UPS operations, the update there is that I finally was able to get a hold of somebody in the facilities department and get them to connect the dots with the operations department. I don't know if they don't like each other, but they don't seem to talk to each other. So there is somebody now at facilities who is returning my calls, who I've been in communications with. The open question is still, what do they want to do? There was the first initial contact I had with the individual was he asked for a 1-year extension at that location. And I told him basically that I'm not sure what we're extending, given that they're not operating out of there, which seemed like a surprise to him. But he at least, is open to conversations and keeping in touch. I have his email address, I have his phone number. So that conversation continues. There's a potential bright spot there that we've got someone who seems open to talking and is relatively sane. So we'll see what goes on, what happens there. So that saga continues. The ATM lease renewal. So the TD Bank called me the other day and said they wanted to know when we were tearing the building down, and I told them that there were no plans to tear the building down. I guess the manager at the Enosburg branch had called the folks with real estate in New Jersey and told them the building was coming down. Anyway, had a chat with them, and they have opted to renew their lease for another year. So their lease gives them the option to renew it for a year. So basically, in accordance with Section 6 of the lease dated June 4th, 2018, the tenant hereby exercises their renewal option to extend for 1 more year commencing November 27th, 2022 through November 26th, 2023. They have increased the rent per the lease section about rate increases by 2%. So the annual rent for the extended term is going to be $1,461.28. There's no action on the board's part for that because the renewal option is baked into the current lease. It's just by way of information.
Do they wanna buy the building and put a bank there?
I don't know, I didn't ask them that. Yeah, Sue?
Charlie, the manager in Enosburg is the fellow.
Yeah, it's Raphael, yep.
Yeah, right, that's who it is.
Yeah, I've spoken to him. So they're aware now of what is or isn't happening.
Right.
So anyway, the ATM lease has been extended for a year, so that operation will continue while we figure out what's going on with the post office and the rest of the building. So that's the update there. As far as I know, there's no water commission issues this evening.
No, I got your message about the Baptist church. And
Oh.
Gotta get that curb stop fixed. So
Thank
we
you.
can shut that off for the winter. And
Okay.
the other thing was just, I was gonna bring up the Reagan Road project. Hopefully that can happen.
Yeah, it's just a
Can we,
case
can
of,
we just look at going on Teresa Begnash's on the other side, but we still need to have still need to go on the other people's property for one
of them, yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Who owns that property?
It's a couple by the name of Jim and Ann Lacker Grateful. Their primary residence is in Massachusetts. They have the house up here, and they're back and forth, but I spoke with them 7 months ago about this, and we talked about getting together up here to look at it together.
So were they open to it, or?
Yeah, they were open to it. Their main thing was they didn't want the poles to obstruct their view. And so the plan was to get together and look at it together. But I just haven't had a response to my phone calls or messages, so I'll keep trying them. Derek at Lutz watches out for the property.
Yeah,
And so I've asked Derek to kind of give me a heads up if he knows that they're in town.
he said they just come in town, I guess, and then leave real quick for
Yeah.
here.
So I'll keep after him, but that's the
I
next
was
step
hoping to get
there.
that done.
Yeah, the hope is to do it this
Yeah.
fall, and there's part of me that's feeling like at the end of the day, you know, I guess we do need the easement for the guy wires, not the pole itself, right? Because
Yeah,
it's the poles in the right of way, it's the guy lines that come off of it that would be on their property.
yeah, on the other side of the road,
Yeah,
that they own that property, yeah,
okay.
I mean, there might be a way we can just, I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll keep trying after him and,
I really just like, you get their permission to
yeah,
do it, but I think we could.
yeah, so we'll keep after them. So we've covered visitors, old business, quick update on the wastewater and streetscape projects. So the survey work continues. Surveyors are working in the village right now on the water system surveying work. The work in the center is related to the base survey maps for any of the streetscape work. The hydrogeologists are doing further investigative work on the disposal sites we've talked about. That work continues. We did get, at the end of last week, appraisals back for the 2 private pieces of land we've talked about, which would need to be purchased. I haven't had a chance to look at them yet, but the next step there would be to sit down with those landowners and basically look at the appraisal and start talking about land purchases. So that's in the works, coming next. We will need to execute at some point at our next meeting maybe, I hope, if not before, the next phase of the financing for this. So moving into the final engineering part of it, we're now moving into a different bucket of funding. This is still money from the state's revolving loan fund, and we're structuring it in a way whereby this town can maximize the subsidy that comes with these loans. So with each loan agreement through the SRF, there's a maximum amount of subsidy basically for given portions of that loan. And so right now, I'm working with the state to figure out how we can essentially break the project into, Aaron might hate me for this, but breaking it into a number of different loans basically so that we can maximize the subsidy for each loan. The folks at the state are open to this and are working with us on it. We got a call last week, and I'm hoping to get that paperwork finalized, in the next week or two, so that we can at least get a look at what that looks like on our end. So as soon as that's together, we'll bring it to the board for review and questions. But that's what's happening there. Other upcoming things would be drafting the ordinance. We're working on that right now. And that's going to dictate, the governance of the system and use. We did have the public hearing a couple weeks ago for all landowners on the system. Suzanne was there. Were you there for part of that at the Grange Hall?
Yes.
Yeah. So good questions, good conversation. There was a couple questions that came up. One was around connection requirements, and who would be required to connect. The answer being all those within the service area. And then there was some metering questions that came up, which we're trying to dig into now. Typically, the way that these systems work for metering usage is they use the water system data with the idea that water in, water out. A really great point was made, I think Mike Carpenter made it, where he's got cows, and so if you've got water coming in for agricultural use that is not going out, how do we measure that? Mm-hmm. The other question came up for what about folks that are not on the water system but are going to be and want to be on the wastewater system? They don't have a water meter, how are we measuring use? So that's been kicked back to the engineers to kind of mull that over. So that's another.
There must be other locations that have that.
Yeah, there's got to be other places that do it. So we're just looking at what other models work.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the updates there in terms of the next steps, what we're tackling, what we're trying to figure out. But I think the next intersection with the full board is going to be around the loan documents and the financing. So hopefully the next meeting will come back with a clearer picture of what that looks like so we can talk about it and then decide on what next steps are going to be. Any questions on that? All right. If not, we'll go back to new business. Just in the interest of just checking some things off. If it's okay to pass over purchasing policy for now and just kind of do some quick stuff, just so we can feel accomplished about moving forward in the agenda. So let's hop to item C. This is the Board of Listers appointment to finish Linda Kluba's term. So Linda Kluba has stepped down from the Board of Listers after many years of service, leaving a vacancy. Her term is a 3-year term expiring in 2024. The listers have put forward the name James Walsh to finish the term. They, I don't know if folks know Jamie, lives on Main Street, partner is Deanna. Jamie's a contractor, and so he has experience in buildings and building. And they recommended Jamie because he's interested, has the time, and has knowledge that they think will help them with essentially doing appraisals of structures and things like that when it comes to work being done and things like that. So we have a nomination from the listers for James Walsh. I will formally, from the board, nominate James. It's a nomination, doesn't need to be seconded. Are there any other nominations to fill the remainder of Linda's term? Not hearing any other nominations, then all those in favor of James or Jamie Walsh finishing the remainder of Linda Kluba's 3-year term expiring in 2024, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Great. Next up, Recreation Board appointment. Corbin Irwin has stepped down, and the Recreation Board has put forward Tiffany Jones to finish the term. This is a 3-year term expiring in 2025. So we have a recommendation from the Rec Board. I will formally nominate Tiffany to finish out the term. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of Tiffany Jones finishing out Corbin's 3-year term expiring 2025, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. Next up is the FY23 Grants and Aid Project Assistance from Regional Planning. Do you know where that document went?
I've got it right here.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of it. So that's for Linda Blash helping us with the road grant.
Yep.
For $1,000. And so I think, I make a motion that we accept, that we approve this, what's it called?
It's an
The grant and
agreement.
aid project assistance from
Yep.
NRPC.
Great, so yeah, again, this is a fee of $1,000 to let Regional Planning act as our project manager, which I think is
Yeah.
invaluable when it comes to this stuff. My understanding too is that this can be baked into the cost of the grant.
Yeah.
And so there is potential for grant funds to pay this. I don't know off the top of my head what the match requirements for some of these might be, but it's rolled into the overall budget.
Yeah. There's parts in the grant for administration.
Yeah. So Mark's moved to accept the agreement.
I'll second.
We have a second from Suzanne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries.
So, we'll sign that.
And I'm realizing that I left something off of the agenda. That's okay, we can tackle this next time. It's not super important, but we do have, just as a point of information, we do have an offer from Efficiency Vermont and the co-op to replace the current lights on Main Street with LEDs. Essentially, the way it works is that total cost would be around $10,000. Our cost would be around $4,400. And with the savings it would offer us, we would pay off that in savings in 23 months. So 2 years, we would basically pay that off, and then the savings would accrue. I did talk with them about some of the work that we might be doing on Main Street and whether it makes sense to do this if we, say, bury the utilities and put in other lights. And what they said is these fixtures would be able to be switched to any new fixtures, and so it wouldn't be like we would do this and then lose the work. But since this wasn't warned, I will bring this back next time. Apologies for that. We have one overweight truck permit. It's from Culvert Transport. Mark, do you want to look at that?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll make a motion to approve the overweight truck permit for Culvert Transport.
Great. We have a motion to approve from Mark. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Leanne. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, motion carries. So last thing on our agenda, we'll circle back to it now, is the purchasing policy. So there's kind of one just administrative tweak that I think we need to make, and the other is thinking a little bit more broadly about how we use this. So the administrative tweak is on page 2, the purchasing authority. These are the following employees that are designated to act as purchasing agents for the town: municipal clerk, municipal treasurer, and public works director. So we no longer have a public works director. So we need to take that out and put somebody else. This could be either road foreman or road commissioner. What makes most sense to you, Mark, as far as how this goes? Because just to review, right now, the way it's written now, employees who have been designated to act as a purchasing agent may make purchases of up to $1,000 without prior approval. So if there's purchases that have to do with the garage that are under $1,000, does it make sense to have you be the one that signs off on those, or Scott?
I think we should just add Scott on to it, leave me on, and add Scott to it. Because he runs everything by me anyways, whatever purchases, and then he's on there for like under 1,000 for stuff for the garage if we, he needs to run and get something, for the garage.
So right now, so again, the purchasing agents are the ones that can make a purchase under $1,000 without asking anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, just to review, so that's incidental purchases, minor purchases. Employees who have been designated as a purchasing agent can make purchases from $1,001 to $5,000 without prior approval of the select board, and are limited to the amount of the budget authorized by the town. Although not required, competitive quotes from at least 2 vendors should be obtained whenever possible. So in this case, a purchasing agent could make a purchase that's between $1,000 and $5,000 without prior approval if it's limited to the amount in the budget authorized by the town.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's a process thing that we might not have been doing correctly or understood correctly, because some of these things that we've approved, the way I read this, we don't actually need to approve it if it's already in the budget.
Yeah.
So for example,
Right,
Yeah,
doesn't,
I think that's what our
doesn't that
misunderstanding
mean like
is.
the Avery's
Yeah.
stuff, like we didn't actually need to approve tonight, and like those
Yeah.
tires, like so
Yeah.
long as it's within the budget.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would make sense for, I feel like it would make sense for Mark to be, I don't know,
well, yeah,
to
so I
be
mean,
on that,
Well, yeah,
on that.
yeah, our cider need to be there.
okay.
Yeah.
So then why don't we swap public works director with road commissioner?
Yeah.
And then put road foreman in for the minor purchases under 1,000?
Yeah, because, like stuff for the garage and stuff.
Yeah, cause they need to be able to do that on a daily basis
Yeah.
to keep things running.
Yeah,
But then
Yeah.
bigger stuff would
Okay,
be
yeah,
through,
Okay.
like, through Mark and
And
Scott and Dave, like
Yeah.
in collaboration, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like what we're gonna do is we're gonna amend to remove Public Works Director, and then we're gonna add Road Commissioner as a purchasing agent, and we're gonna add Road Foreman as a purchasing agent for limited to purchases under $1,000. Does that sound like an accurate reflection of what we were just talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sound good, Emily?
I said
Yeah.
yes, I was just muted.
Oh, that's okay. All right, cool. So then, the motion would be to amend the purchasing policy to remove Public Works Director. What are we calling these folks again? As a purchasing agent. Okay, so the motion would be to amend the purchasing policy to remove Public Works Director as a purchasing agent, and then add Road Commissioner as a purchasing agent and Road Foreman as a purchasing agent, limited to purchases under $1,000. Is there a motion to that effect?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to that effect.
We have a motion from Suzanne. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Larry has a-
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a
Aye.
question from the visitors. Yes, Larry, go ahead. Good, thank you.
Real quick, is there a policy concerning federal funds, federally allocated funds?
Well, those are,
We have a, yes, but that is not included here. We have also adopted another policy that I'll have to dig out, which is subject to the Davis-Bacon Act, which governs federal policies in line with their procedures. And this purchasing policy, when I reviewed it with Aaron, dovetails with that one. So we do have a procurement policy which follows the federal procedures for federal grants.
Sorry to interrupt the process.
Nope, that's okay.
Thank you.
It's a good catch though, because when we're talking about federal money, we always gotta make sure that Davis Bacon is satisfied. All right, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Okay, any objections? Any abstentions? Mark abstains. Great. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our agenda. I gotta say, we moved through that in pretty good time. It's only 8 o'clock.
There's only one other thing I'd like, is like, if I could get like a budget report like once a month,
Yes.
you know, if I could get that, because that would help me stay within the budget.
Yep.
And for Scott too, so we both can,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
keep an eye on things.
No, that is important.
And, yeah,
So we'll talk to Aaron about that, and then maybe
Yeah.
you and I can sit down with.
well, even the board should go over at least every quarter.
Yeah, quarterly. But I think what you and I should probably do is go sit down with the budget with those guys and just
Yeah,
go
we'll go
over the
over.
process and stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe sometime next week we can.
Yeah, we can kind of go over the purchasing policy.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to ask was, we still have a 20-hour-a-week position. Are we gonna advertise that, or?
Oh, that's a good point.
And also, Billy Baker, I was wondering if we could get him for a few more hours the next couple of weeks to help us finish up grading and get ready for winter.
Yeah. So I think working with Billy is fine under the current arrangement we've got.
Because we have a 20-hour-a-week position that's not
Yeah, that's not
happening
filled.
right now, so.
That's a good.
It's not
point,
gonna be
but-
that many hours, but just to get the final grading. And,
Hey, Mark,
after with all the rain that just happened too. Yes,
did you end up talking to Billy about that 20-hour-a-week position? I know you kind of mentioned that,
yeah,
like,
he's,
you mentioned it to him in passing.
I do want to just.
yeah, I don't think he's interested in
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
but it is personal, yeah.
I was gonna say, before we dig into that too deep, that is
Yeah.
something that we would probably go into executive session to discuss.
He wasn't
but-
interested.
Okay, but if he's not interested, he's not interested.
Yeah.
Alright, so we will look to advertise the other position.
I'm just saying we have that available for a little bit of grading right now,
Yeah. So I
We
was,
had, we had talked about during this whole discussion with employment, that we had talked about getting somebody like into like a program, like a class or something for grading. Is that something we're still thinking we wanna?
Yeah, I mean,
Pursue.
I just gotta sign them up.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's,
We
Okay.
did see, something came in recently about
It's on
that.
Vermont Local Roads program.
Yeah.
And, I'll just have to put a request in. I might just put it in for both of them.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
And, you know, try to work that out.
then Billy can actually retire.
Yeah. No, never.
Yeah,
You're doing it forever.
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Alright, well with that, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Great, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, thanks for
8:03.